No one expected the quiet road at the edge of Maple Ridge to become the center of a legal storm. When Daniel Carter returned after a year away, he found something that should never have existed. He had left the town to care for his aging mother, locking the gate to his 10-acre property and trusting the peaceful community he had grown up in. Maple Ridge was known for its calm streets, trimmed hedges, and strict HOA rules that promised order and harmony. Daniel believed everything would be exactly as he left it: open fields, oak trees, and the small wooden barn his father built decades ago. But as his truck rolled down the gravel lane, he slowed to a stop. Where his pasture once stretched beneath the afternoon sun now stood three enormous modern mansions, their glass walls shining like mirrors. Fresh pavement cut across the land. Decorative fountains sprayed water into the air. Luxury vehicles sat in driveways that had never existed. Daniel stepped out slowly, his breath shallow, unsure whether he was standing in the right place. A polished stone sign near the entrance read, "Oak Crest Estates, a private HOA community." His land had been transformed into something unrecognizable, and the most shocking truth was still waiting for him inside the HOA office. Daniel stood at the edge of the new development, trying to reconcile memory with reality. The breeze carried the scent of fresh concrete and new paint instead of hay and soil. Every step forward felt like stepping into someone else's life. A neighbor walking a golden retriever slowed beside him and smiled politely. "Beautiful homes, aren't they?" she said. Daniel forced a nod. "When were they built?" "Last summer." The HOA said the land was cleared for expansion. Everyone was excited. His stomach tightened. Cleared. Expansion. Words spoken casually, as if history had been erased with a signature. He drove straight to the Maple Ridge HOA office, a neat brick building decorated with hanging flower baskets and a flag waving in the warm breeze. Inside, the air smelled of lemon polish and paperwork. Behind the front desk sat a woman in a navy blazer, her smile practiced and calm. "I'm looking for records on Oak Crest Estates," Daniel said. She typed briefly, then looked up. "Those properties were developed under HOA authority." Daniel's pulse pounded. Authority granted by who? She hesitated, just long enough to confirm his fear, and then she told him the name of the person who approved everything. The approval signature belonged to HOA President Linda Whitmore, a woman known for her polished speeches and unwavering confidence. Her photo hung in the office hallway, smiling down like a symbol of perfect order and authority. Daniel requested a meeting immediately. Linda welcomed him into a conference room lined with framed community awards and aerial photographs of Maple Ridge. She greeted him with a warm handshake and a professional smile. "Mr. Carter, I understand you have questions," she said. He placed his worn property deed on the table. "I was gone for 1 year," he said calmly. "How did 3 mansions appear on my land?" Linda's smile faltered for the briefest moment before returning. She explained that the HOA believed the parcel had been abandoned and incorporated it into a neighborhood expansion plan designed to increase property value and community prestige. Daniel listened without interrupting, then he slid a second document across the table, a certified survey map stamped by the county. Silence filled the room. Linda studied the document, her confident posture slowly stiffening as realization crept across her face. "This land," Daniel said quietly, "was never abandoned." And the legal implications of that truth were far bigger than either of them expected. Word spread through Maple Ridge faster than summer thunder. Residents gathered in driveways and along sidewalks, whispering about permits, surveys, and a mistake no one had imagined possible. The 3 mansions stood like monuments to a decision now under scrutiny. Within days, attorneys became involved. County records were examined, zoning approvals reviewed, and archived plats retrieved from storage. Each document told the same story. Daniel Carter remained the lawful owner of the 10-acre parcel. The HOA argued procedural authority and community benefit. Their attorneys claimed the development improved neighborhood value and relied on records indicating inactivity on the land. But inactivity did not equal surrender, and assumptions did not equal ownership. Daniel did not raise his voice. He did not threaten. He simply presented proof. Survey markers still buried beneath the landscaping were uncovered. Original boundary pins were located beneath decorative stone. Every measurement confirmed the truth. The mansions, each worth millions, stood entirely on Daniel's property. Residents who had purchased the homes began asking quiet, worried questions, and during an emergency HOA meeting, a single question echoed through the room: "What happens now?" The answer was not simple. Removing the mansions would devastate families and bankrupt the association. Ignoring the mistake would violate property law. The situation seemed impossible until Daniel proposed something no one expected. He requested a private meeting with the homeowners and HOA board. The room was heavy with tension as residents filled the chairs, their faces a mixture of fear and disbelief. Linda Whitmore sat at the head of the table, her usual composure replaced by visible strain. Daniel stood calmly. "I'm not here to take anyone's home," he began. "But the land beneath them is mine." Silence followed. He explained that his family had owned the property for generations. It was more than acreage, it was history, memory, and identity. Yet he understood that the homeowners had purchased in good faith. Then he offered a solution. Instead of forcing demolition or relocation, he would lease the land beneath each mansion under long-term agreements. Whispers spread through the room. It was a compromise no one had imagined, but the most surprising reaction came from the HOA president herself. Linda Whitmore looked at Daniel with a mixture of relief and humility. The authority she once projected had softened into something more human: accountability. The proposed agreements were reviewed by attorneys and county officials. Each homeowner would retain full ownership of their residence, while the land beneath would be leased from Daniel under a structured, renewable contract. Payments would contribute to land stewardship and community improvements. Residents who once feared losing everything began to breathe again. At the next community meeting, the mood shifted from anxiety to cautious gratitude. Daniel was no longer seen as an outsider returning to disrupt their lives, but as someone preserving fairness while protecting his family legacy. Children rode bicycles past the mansions in the golden afternoon light. Sprinklers hummed. Life resumed its rhythm. Linda approached Daniel afterward. "I believed I was protecting the neighborhood," she admitted. "I didn't see what I overlooked." Daniel nodded. Sometimes progress moves faster than patience. The crisis had revealed more than legal boundaries. It had exposed the true meaning of ownership, responsibility, and respect, and Maple Ridge would never look at its land the same way again. Months later, Oak Crest Estate stood complete, its modern homes glowing beneath the soft light of evening. But now, beneath every foundation, beneath every manicured lawn and stone walkway, lay a quiet acknowledgement of truth. Daniel's family name was recorded in county archives and community agreements, not as an obstacle, but as a guardian of the land's history. Lease payments funded tree preservation, walking trails, and a small park dedicated to Maple Ridge's agricultural past. Residents gathered there on weekends, children playing beneath the same sky that once stretched over Daniel's empty pasture. Linda Whitmore remained HOA president, but her leadership carried a new tone, one shaped by listening rather than assumption. Meetings became conversations instead of directives. The community grew closer, bound by a shared lesson learned the hard way. Daniel often walked the edge of the property at sunset, the warm light reflecting off windows that stood where wild grass once swayed. He did not see loss. He saw adaptation, balance, and the endurance of something deeper than structures, because in the end, the land had not been taken from him, it had found a way to return, and that was the final twist in this unbelievable HOA story. If you love the drama, don't forget to like, subscribe, and drop a comment sharing your thoughts. It really helps this channel grow.